Warning, today's episode of Everything vs. Everything contains some strong language.
Everything versus everything. Fight!
Hello everyone, and welcome to Everything vs. Everything, episode 9. Woo! Oh, that never gets any easier. I'm Alex. I remembered to say it straight away this time. How cool am I?
Very cool.
Yeah, thank you very much. Who are you?
I'm Euan. I've been on plenty of episodes, so you don't know that. Shut up now.
And who's this other person who we have?
I'm Alanna. I'm a newbie.
Yay! We have a new person.
Hello, Alanna.
Hello, welcome. Welcome to the Everything vs. Everything Club. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. I've got a cold, so...
That's fine. I had a cold on the last episodes that were recorded, so you can maybe look at where the common cold is placed on the list. I think it's quite low down. If you're feeling annoyed with it, you could nudge it down further in the...
Yeah, I'm a bit annoyed because I'm pretty annoying this week.
Colds are annoying, and also it's really boiling as well, which is strange.
Having a cold in this weather is awful.
It feels so
Yeah, it's
contrasting.
Yeah.
You're getting the worst of both worlds.
Because it's cold or
Feels
so
unfair.
wintry.
When you've got a cold, you want to bundle yourself up and drink some hot Ribena or something.
Yeah, and you're not allowed to. It's all
And if you do that in this weather, you'll just die of heat stroke.
You feel colds are kind of for the winter times and like sunburns for like the summer times and that kind of
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah,
so.
stick to your own season.
Yeah.
Get back into winter.
Colds aren't really that related to actually how cold it is, apparently.
Really?
Like, apparently, it's sort of a myth that you can catch a cold by going out in the cold.
And being cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandma always used to tell me off for going out with wet hair. You
But
get a cold that way.
Yeah, but it's just a virus that you get from other people. It's not really related to if you're... It might make it worse if you already have one and you go out in the cold, but... Anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about things. This is the podcast where we rank everything in the world in order from best to worst, and we start doing that in a section that we call Bring a Thing. In Bring a Thing, we each bring a thing and we talk about it and decide where it should be placed on the list. So, who wants to be the first one to bring their thing today?
I can go first if you want.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, cool.
Get started, Euan.
Okay, I've brought a thing today. It's not the train that you're hearing in the background. That'd be great if it was, actually.
That'd be impressive.
That'd be really...
more
that's a lot of
practical
setup
than
right
usual.
there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I brought a thing, and it's actually potentially connected to the theme that we're going to do later on, but oh well, it sometimes happens that way. So my thing I brought is dancing.
Wow.
A little bit of dancing. Now, I'm not much of a dancer. I don't really like much dancing. I like something like Scottish country dancing, because there's actually there's a system in place. There's instructions, and even like Scottish country dancing, if you're doing it right, there's a person that actually tells you what to do and helps you the whole way around. And it's kind of fun because you're like throwing people all over the place and everyone's being a bit wild and jerky, and it's nice. But dancing as a whole, I'm not much of a dancer. Not someone that would go to like dancing clubs or when you're at sort of social events. I kind of more just like sort of sit down, chat, that's what I find more fun. But a lot of people do like dancing and that. I do like sometimes watching professional dancers. As in terms of like a spectator sport kind of thing, like it's very enjoyable. A really good sort of professional dancer, it's like looks like, oh my goodness, that's amazing, that's really impressive what they're doing and that. But doing it myself, it's not quite the same, and but it's supposed to be something fun to do. So if you're not up there dancing, you're not enjoying it, then it doesn't feel right, kind of thing. But it's one of those things where like people seem to say like, oh, everyone get up and dance, come on, let's all have some fun. Well, people that are like properly doing the dancing, the professionals, they've like trained for it and that kind of stuff, but you feel like, oh no, everyone can get up and dance, it's a natural thing to do, and I don't think that's the case. It's like saying to someone, oh, there's a piano here, everyone go and try and play the piano, but no, we don't all know how to play the piano, okay?
Yeah.
But for some reason dancing's got its own sort of thing where like, no, anyone can dance. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to have to be seriously lubricated with alcohol to dance in public.
Yeah.
Although I'm a big dancer in the house. Like, if I've got the radio on, I would quite happily dance. Neil often laughs at me, but I get what you mean. It feels like forced fun almost. And you always feel a bit silly, don't you?
Yeah.
Or just a bit...
I mean, the dances that I do in the house when I'm listening to music, if anyone saw me doing those, I would just have to move to another city, probably. I mean, yeah,
I
dancing...
really want to see this now.
I feel there's two types of dancing. There's the just naturally moving when you're hearing a music or something.
Yeah.
You just do it without thinking, and in some ways that's the more honest type of dancing. And that's people pretend that all dancing is like that, and they're like, get up and dance, just let the music flow through you. But like when you actually see. Like, there are people who've practiced and made an effort and are actually good at it and actually look kind of cool when they're doing it. And
Don't you get that thing, though, where you do see somebody dancing and they actually look really good and in your back of your head just, like, show off?
Yeah, I could totally get that. I do get that. I mean, if I'm going to an actual dance recital, I'm like, that's the reason we're here for it. But when it's like, it's in a club and then someone just like walks to almost like a very empty space and then just starts break dancing, it's like, oh, you've been practicing that for like years in your bedroom just for this moment to sort of show off kind of thing.
How do you feel about dancing at gigs?
I don't really go to many gigs myself. I can understand people doing it because it's, again, like, I guess when you hear music, you feel, some people, I don't feel that as much as others, but like, I can understand that you get taken away by the music and you want to bop your head or sort of like move your body, that stuff. And again, like, when you're listening to music, you do feel you can't just like stand there and just like watch and listen.
Yeah.
It feels unnatural also.
When I've been at gigs, I've felt really self-conscious, whatever I do. Like, even if I'm just standing there, just completely still, trying to look appreciative, like, this is very good. I just feel like such a sort of...
Nonce.
Yeah, I guess.
My perfect scenario is like, if I was going to a music event that had sort of dancing, would be me actually just like sitting at kind of like 1920s sort of speakeasy bar and they've got a stage and they've got dancing musicians and I'm just like drinking and just like watching and so like, yeah, this is very good. Love
That sounds very good.
That's my kind of perfect scenario.
Yeah.
We've danced to Kaylee before, though.
We have, that's right.
Yeah, it was
This
good.
is James and Laura's.
Oh yeah, I've tried to do that, and in fact, like when you were saying about how it's easier if they're directing you, I find the opposite of that. Like when I tried at James and Laura's wedding to dance with people like shouting directions, like it's easy just to like go around the person and around the other person and clockwise and whoa and back and under the arm and wow.
Yeah.
I have so
Part of
little
the fun
coordination.
is getting it wrong.
Yeah, it's a type of dancing that's like not to be serious, but I can understand that it can be also quite awkward when there's someone like literally telling you sort of like do this,
so I
do
just,
this, do
I
this.
just went and sat down after.
Oh.
I think the
minutes of
trick
that.
to dancing a Kaylee is that you always get up and do the first one because that tends to be the easiest of the night.
Yeah.
And then you can bow out.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Because I do feel bad sitting out of dancing, and I usually do. I'll join in dances if they're basically just jump up and down.
Yeah.
I can do that. That's fun.
Yeah.
Anything more advanced, I feel like, is gilding the lily a bit.
Yeah. You're doing a very complicated tango or waltz or that kind of stuff. I've been to a dancing class before actually for just, I don't even know why, I'm not that interested at all in it. But I've tried to do like instructed sort of dance and it's so complicated with like putting your feet there and putting your feet there and your hands and it's like a form of like body juggling in a sense. It's just there's so much like stuff going on at the same time. When you try to learn it yourself and then you really see how actually like professional dancers, what they're actually pulling off is very impressive. That they're able to do all these different things at the same time, and not just that, doing it to music and making it look really good and natural. It is very impressive in that sense. So
I'm really into ballet, and I often go a few times a year, whatever's played at the festival. But that to me is like a form of athleticism. The strength and coordination, it's quite unbelievable. It's unlike any other type of dance as well.
oh, severely so. And I've seen a few videos on like ballet dancers that sort of like preparing and working out, and it's really
intense.
impressive, just sort of athleticism. So they're extremely strong people of ballet dancing, professional ballet dancers. Kind of.
Yes, yeah.
So I mean, dancing is good, but I just feel like sometimes it can be not so good if you don't like dancing yourself.
I feel like it's a fairly fundamental part of our culture, and in some ways it's Maybe this is just me as someone who can't dance in the way that is generally sort of considered good.
I'm there with you.
But yeah, it's sort of been not co-opted, that's too strong a term, but let's just say co-opted by people who are good at it, and they're like, no, this is what dancing is. It's doing all these fancy moves and everything, and the sort of universality of it has been taken away in a sense, because it's like, now if you just jump up and down and move to the rhythm and are all excited and just naturally jiving, I've never said jiving before, then people are like, that's not dancing.
I don't really understand why it is so embedded in our culture though. I never really got the whole first dance thing at a wedding.
It's like in human culture.
Because like, people don't really do it, especially that kind of dance.
Yeah.
They don't do it much, and then suddenly it's portrayed as this very important sort of thing.
Yeah, and like the fact that any sort of events are sort of to do with sort of celebrations, there usually is some dancing involved as well, and even like people when they're going out to lovely social events, for young people anyway, that involves a lot of like going to nightclub bars and sort of having a dance floor and that kind of thing. It's funny that I never really got it myself, but it seems to be something that people do.
It is something people do. Yeah, so where would you put it on the list?
I'm not going to put it that high up.
Really?
Myself, no. Again, I like it and I'm impressed with people who professionally do it. Maybe put it in around where coffee pods are.
That seems a bit low.
Wow.
It's not that low if you look at the list. There's up to 60 stuff. It's going in the middle-ish area.
I just feel like it encompasses so much stuff.
Yeah.
Dancing. Alright, well sell it to me. Why should we put it higher?
How do you feel when you're dancing on your own?
I don't dance on my own much either. I'm always impressed with people that say that, I sometimes dance around the house on my own. I'm thinking, I've never had that inclination
I only do it
whatsoever.
if I'm absolutely sure no one else is going to see me.
But even then, I just never feel about doing something else on my own. No, that sounds wrong, but it's like playing a video game or watching TV or a
That's what you
film.
call it, isn't it?
It's definitely better than trashy TV. Probably more important than profanity. I mean, like I've heard. There's an interesting story I did hear though. Is like. Back in America, the origins of breakdancing were community leaders invented it to sort of stop kids who were in gangs from actually fighting. Instead, they made a dance competition instead. And that was like a big jump forward in terms of apparently decrease a lot of like violence and deaths and that kind of thing. So that's kind of a cool bit that like dancing can do that kind
I mean,
of
if
thing.
you're to believe movies, and dancing is like this incredible form of self-expression that can bring communities together, and
That's true.
like gangs of street kids will learn to do it and become better people.
Yeah, or if you ban it from a town, then it will. that has to stop, and a big social movement has to be done around it. So, though, if you're in the north of England, it's a very bad thing for men to do. You have to show them that that's actually not the case. And
Yeah, but like, I don't think there's any movies where it's like everyone's dancing and then the message at the end is dancing's really bad. You should stop that.
No, there's not, because
So that tells you something, doesn't it?
there's no anti-dancing movies as far as I know. Maybe I'll be the first one to make it. How much it ruins things. No, you're right. Dancing isn't a bad thing. It just feels. If everyone's been asked up to dance, it can feel a bit
It can,
awkwardly
but I feel
bad. And
like-
if you don't like dancing yourself, you just feel like.
I feel like we're socially awkward people who don't appreciate it as much as other people, but for the sake of being objective, we should probably put it a bit higher up.
I
Okay.
think it definitely needs to be above Coca-Cola. I'll be upset
Yeah.
if it's not.
Well,
Yeah.
I was putting above Coca-Cola, but yeah, maybe a bit higher. But then again, there's other things on the list that we put down, even though lots of people do like them themselves.
True,
So
but
maybe around where cocktails are then, around there.
maybe. Yeah, I mean that's.
Yeah.
So it's below the Eurovision Song Contest, which has a lot of dancing in it.
It does have a lot of dancing in it. That's
Saying that Eurovision is better than dancing as a whole because it's
What is Eurovision? Come on.
Eurovision. I mean, that's the
okay.
thing.
Yeah, fair enough.
Speaks for itself.
Exactly.
Laura's trying to push Eurovision down the list.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, I didn't know she was going to do that.
Didn't know she was-
She's never had a Eurovision Song Contest party.
No,
obviously.
we should
She
have had
needs
one.
to get score sheets on the go.
Get some
and
cheese.
Cheese.
Yeah.
How many
cheese
different
party.
types of cheese did you have?
I think we had 4 this year.
That's
Oh, that's
impressive.
cool.
With grapes and wine. It was wonderful.
Enough to make the perfect grilled cheese sandwich, according to Scott. It's all linked together.
It is. Yeah, maybe around where Eurovision is could be an okay
Would you
place.
two put it below Eurovision though?
No, I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't.
So
think
you're
I would
thinking.
either.
Okay, right. Well,
I don't think I can put it above grilled cheese sandwiches though.
So we're finding a good place then.
Okay, so should it be above the colour blue? Or-
Yes.
Okay, so then we've got it just below grilled cheese sandwiches.
Okay,
I'm
not
happy
as,
with that.
Not as good as grilled cheese sandwiches, but better than the colour blue. Dancing.
I'm happy with that.
Good, so that was a good starting point, Euan. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, do you want to go next, Alanna, or what?
Yeah. So the thing that I'm going to bring is Nutella.
Ooh.
Now, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Nutella. I think I discovered it probably about 6 years ago, and it turned into an obsession where it was no longer getting spread on toast, it was getting eaten with a spoon straight out of the jar. And it got to the point where the person I was living with at the time banned me from having it in the house because I would get through whole jars of it with a spoon, and it was making me feel awful.
Oh dear.
And I've kind of got over that now.
Good.
And I watched a documentary with the Brownlee brothers, and they was talking about their training, and then one of them said, and we have Nutella in our porridge, and that just rocked my world.
Oh no.
So that became a thing, and I had to wean myself off that as well.
No.
But yeah, Nutella's just delicious.
Because I don't really have Nutella. Is it basically a chocolate peanut butter sort of mixture kind of thing?
It's made with hazelnuts,
Okay.
and it's by the Ferrero Rocher company.
All right.
So
I
it
didn't know
tastes pretty much like the Ferrero Rocher chocolates that you get, full of
so it's-
hazelnutty goodness.
Sort of a spready version of it.
Yeah, but it's completely smooth. There's no like nutty bits.
It's not
in it.
crunchy.
No, it's not crunchy, and it just. I looked at the ingredients, and you know how the list of ingredients is in. The first one is always the one that has the most in it.
Yeah.
So I think the second ingredient on the list is palm oil, and when I discovered that, it really affected me because I've been trying to make good choices environmentally, and I stopped eating meat for environmental reasons, and then I discover that one of my favourite things ever has got palm oil in at such high volumes that
Is that very bad? What's the environmental impact of palm oil?
deforestation and just the impact that that's having. And I think there was this meme that was doing the rounds on Facebook recently as well, where it was showing you what actually was in Nutella, in a Nutella jar, and it was getting shared and everyone was going mental. It's like, but those things have been listed on the side of the jar on the ingredients list. Why now are you only...
Yeah. There's a fad aspect to outrage sometimes. Where
Yes.
People
Yeah.
Totally.
just wait until
I know it's bad for
fashionable
me,
to-
but we know Coke's bad for it. So
I eat and drink a lot of stuff that I know is bad for me. Nutella isn't one of them, but that's because it weirds me out a bit. I think I had a bad experience with it. I mean, nothing too dramatic, but it wasn't what I expected it to be. And Gavin has been trying to get me into it for a while, and every so often, it's one of those things like mushrooms where every so often I'll try it to see if I still don't like it. So far, I still don't like it. I thought it was going to be more sweet.
It's pretty
I don't
sweet.
know. Yeah, I guess, but I can't really describe what I thought it was going to be like, but it was totally not what I thought it was going to be. And you know when sometimes you taste something that's not what you expected and that can put you off it quite quickly? Like if you're expecting one taste and you get another, it's sort of jarring.
I know what you mean. Or if you're having something that you think is that food type and you eat it and it's actually something else that you're just having more of a reaction.
So I think I've had that. I mean, but I'm not against it in theory. I've never gotten
I feel
into
like
it.
I've been pretty negative about Nutella, and I was bringing it to the table as a positive thing.
Yeah.
So I think this has been good. It's made me reflect on my choices.
I did the exact same thing with Coca-Cola. I brought it as damn it, I want to drink Coca-Cola all the time, and then I just talked about it. Well, we had talked about it for a while, and I realised, I shouldn't drink Coca-Cola, should I?
So it's a Ferrero Rocher company that makes it. I don't think I've heard anything bad about the Ferrero Rocher company.
It's one of those things that I just don't want to Google just in case.
I mean, I already know about the palm oil.
Yeah, the palm oil thing probably means they're not necessarily the most ethical company if they're using that in
It's always
such
that
big quantities, but we don't want to...
I mean, I think the main use of palm oil is that it makes shelf life longer. It's completely odorless, tasteless, and it improves shelf life dramatically, which is why so many products have it, and is why it's having such an environmental impact because of deforestation and people try to farm it. So I get why so many products have it, but at the same time, how do you cut it out? How do you try and cut out palm oil if it's in everything?
Yeah.
You have to make an equivalent that
sort of
doesn't do the harm.
The curse of a lot of capitalist society.
Yeah.
You have choice, but it's very difficult to... I mean, there's probably palm oil equivalents out there, I'm guessing, that are more ethical, but it's very hard to live your life not using any palm oil.
I think a documentary I watched said that coconut oil has similar benefits, but obviously that has got a taste and would affect the taste of a lot of recipes.
Like coconut, so I'm fine with that.
Do you still eat a lot of Nutella, or have you...
I eat it occasionally in my porridge, but I no longer eat it with a spoon out of the jar.
Oh, that's nice.
Fair enough.
I wish I had that control with Coca-Cola. I feel like with Coca-Cola it's one of those binary things where either I seem to be drinking endless amounts of it or I've just completely stopped.
Cut
I've made a
yourself
rule.
off.
I have no self-control. It's bad.
Look at the calories and things. That tends to put me off.
I know, but oh god. Where do you think Nutella should go then, based on all your conflicted feelings about it?
I mean, it still is pretty delicious. It's one of these
is that the
Marmite type
Coca-Cola
things.
thing?
It's very divisive. People either love it or they hate
I
it.
don't think I hate it. I think it's just I had it oversold to me by various people over the years, and now I respect it. Oh, actually, I don't know if I respect it for the palm oil thing. Actually, maybe I am vindicated in my belief that it's evil. And yeah, it's evil. Evil.
Evil.
Yeah,
Evil.
I think it should go at the bottom of the list.
The bottom of the list.
No.
Not really.
I have to
No,
put
no,
it
no.
up. Maybe. It's pretty linked with porridge for me at the moment, so around there
Okay.
might be good.
Would you say that it is better than porridge?
Oh, it does make porridge good. It's maybe not better than porridge.
Am I just healthier and probably more
That's true.
ethical?
I might have to try porridge with Nutella now because
I would urge anybody that hasn't tried it to try it because it's a revelation.
I've always struggled to find like a porridge combination thing that's actually worked for me that's made me be able to eat porridge better. If this is the way, then
It sounds like some sort
It
of...
does look a bit icky though.
no.
I get
That's
a
fine.
few funny looks
You
at
struggle
the...
to find a porridge combination that works for you.
There's a few funny looks in the work office kitchen when I'm eating it. And I'm like, what is that brown gooey substance?
they've always pitched like porridge with like golden syrup or something like that. I think that
That's
is
too
Yeah.
sweet.
but that's too sweet for me. Maybe a chocolatey Nutella. Okay, I'll report
Try it.
back.
Try it and report back.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is also a cooking show.
Top tips.
We've already had a perfect grilled cheese sandwich recipe.
Here we have.
Alana's Nutella and porridge.
You only need about a teaspoon in the porridge, just FYI, in case anybody wanted to try
yeah.
it.
You don't want them overdosing on it.
I feel porridge because of the fact that
Destroying
I
all
don't
the world's
think
forests and Muggle.
I don't think porridge is doing that. So
Yeah, the porridge is fairly harmless. It's
Yeah.
innocuous.
my potential.
Porridge
feel
has been
would be-
around for a long time, and it's reliable. It's not sexy, but it's there. It's always been there, and it always will be there.
It seems like Nutella
For
should
you.
go more towards around where coffee pods and Coca-Cola are, which are really good but have ethical
Yeah.
things attached
Okay,
to it.
yeah.
I feel more in the Coca-Cola area because I think you feel about it almost exactly the way I feel about Coca-Cola.
Agreed. Yeah.
So maybe around there.
I might have to put it above Coca-Cola.
It has got nut traces in it, so people with nut allergies
That's true.
can have it. So
See,
Coca-Cola's
I'm
not got
letting
an
my
allergy.
personal feelings
I mean,
cloud.
you've got to bring that to some extent, but you also have to be objective because this is objective. This list,
Yes.
completely, undeniably the truth. So we need to make sure we get it right.
Based on the revelation that I've had about Nutella maybe not being the best choice as a food substance for me, maybe it should go underneath Coca-Cola.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I would put it there probably.
Okay.
Yay!
Ta-da.
Okay, now it's just my thing for bring a thing, and my thing for bring a thing is being unable to stop laughing.
Oh, you mean hysterical? That kind of
Yeah, basically.
You've brought this up specifically because I'm here.
I mean, it crossed my mind, but I also have a few examples from my own life of when this has happened, and there's just no reason for it at all. Like, if I try and explain what I was laughing at, it just will make no sense at all. But I kind of want to, just in case there's anyone else out there who... Because if someone else out there also finds these things hilarious, I might have found my soulmate, so... if you find this hilarious, then write in, contact us via Facebook or Twitter. Okay, so one of them, this is a very long time ago, but I was watching You've Been Framed, and there was a young boy at Disneyland talking to a guy dressed in a big Pinocchio costume with a big smiling Pinocchio face. And the boy just for some reason stamps on Pinocchio's foot, and the Pinocchio guy starts hopping around, like clearly in pain, but still with his big smile on. And for some reason for a long time that was the funniest thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah, that'll do it.
But the two more recent things which I struggle to explain to people, and I'm sure there have been more in my life, it's just these are the two that stand out that I can remember. One of them was at a birthday party. It might have been my birthday party, but we had a caterpillar cake, like one of those caterpillar cakes that's like a long
I love those.
chocolate
Oh, yeah.
with a smiley face on one end. There's a lot
like
of
that.
smiley faces in these.
Yeah.
Inanimate smiling faces, funny. But like, it was at the end of the party, and I just walked into the kitchen. It was like, as things were cooling down, I just walked into the kitchen and like saw this caterpillar cake sliced down the middle, but with the face like just lying there, like looking up at the ceiling. But like it was just a big chunk missing from the middle of it, of the cake. So it was just like this caterpillar cake that had been like cut in half and like had the middle of it completely removed, but smiling up at the ceiling. It was just so funny. I don't know why.
Wow.
I don't know why that was so funny. It was
That is quite dark, Alex.
I know. It was like, it seemed to summarize something about the world. Just like this dead thing that's forced to keep smiling even though it's been like completely dismembered. It was so horrifying, but also
Hilarious, obviously.
Yeah.
There's a feeling of like when you see something quite dark that you just almost, there's a humour in it somewhere. Because it's in that kind of line between like tragedy and comedy kind of thing that's so stark.
Yes, I think it was something to do with that. And then there was me and Stuart and James, I think it was. We were around at James's old flat. And for some reason, James was in possession of a Hanna-Barbera sound effects CD.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it was his. I think he'd like
A
bought
likely
someone had
tale.
lent to him for some reason. And for some bizarre reason, we put it on just in the background as we were talking.
All right.
And it's just basically it's like 100 tracks, and most of them are really short little sound effects, just like boing or something like that. But then occasionally there's answering machine messages done by cartoon characters. So you get like Fred Flintstone going yabba dabba doo, leave a message, I'll get back to you. And then so this just slowly built up, and I just became aware of this background noise, and I started laughing and I couldn't stop because it was just like every time I was like trying to get it under control, there'd be like another weird sound or another weird answering machine message would play, and I actually had to leave the room because it was one of those times when I felt like I was going to die because I was having trouble breathing.
Yeah.
And I can only remember a few times that's happened, but when it does, it's like very memorable. So those are my examples. I don't know if you guys have any. I know Alanna, you certainly get like that sometimes.
Yeah,
over
it's
quite
a
random
constant
things.
affliction. And as you know, I also start crying when I'm laughing, laughing that hard. And it's actually a blessing and a curse because it's wonderful because I love to laugh, but at the same time, anything can trigger it. And I genuinely think that if I got into that state at a funeral, and why I'd be laughing at a funeral, I don't know. But I wouldn't be able to stop because it is an uncontrollable thing. And I've had it where I've been in school before and something's made me laugh and I've not been able to stop, and even when the teacher's like telling me off, and it's exhausting.
There is that fact of even just like, you know, you have to stop, that also keeps you sort of going in a sense. You're sort of trying to control it, and it just that adds to the difficulty of it all.
I've worked in like call centres as well, and I've had people that have gone out of the way to try and make me laugh whilst I've been on the phone to a customer, and I've had to mute myself, and the customer's like on the phone like, hello, are you still there?
Yeah.
And I'm uncontrollably laughing. It's not nice, it's not big, and it's not clever.
No.
That's funny though, I like it.
There is a funniness to it, but I mean that's a problem.
When someone else is doing it, I always end up laughing as well.
Yeah, that's contagious
Nice
in a
little
sense.
cycle.
I remember that it happened to me as well. I can't remember what triggered it, but I just remember that kind of feeling of like being totally giddy, just like, and you stop actually laughing, at least for me in those occasions, you stop actually laughing at what made you laugh, instead just you're laughing at yourself laughing.
And then but then you're like, oh, I nearly stopped, and then you remember what made you laugh. Oh, that starts you again. So it's just it's good. I like it.
I haven't had it
Although
to me in years though.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often, but when it does, I forget how like genuinely like life endangering it can feel. At least for me, like those few times that I talked about, those have made me like actually feel like I need to get a hold of myself, or I am not going to be able to breathe.
I will also say that I like sort of like either making jokes or saying some funny stuff and getting people laughing, and that sort of getting someone uncontrollably laughing is like kind of the gold standard of like doing that kind of stuff. Like if you get someone else laughing because it's like to such an extent, so if something you've done or said, it feels very rewarding in a sense. So
it's James that usually does it to me at book club.
He's good at that.
But just because he'll say something in such a deadpan way, and then he does that like really adorable laugh that he's got, and when I start laughing, he starts laughing even more, and then that makes me laugh, and it's an uncontrollable cycle.
It snowballs.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's just so unpredictable what can cause it though. Like I can never predict what would make someone else laugh or even me laugh that much.
No, it's totally uncontrollable, I think.
Your laugh is wonderful as well. It's such a nice laugh. It comes out
It's
of
a bit
nowhere.
kind of over the top sometimes.
I like that.
Self-conscious about it. Anyway, yeah, so I think it's a joyful sort of thing. It's a life-affirming thing. It has its downsides, as you point out rightly. Like, I've never really had it happen in a really inappropriate situation.
No,
I've had it happen when, it's just I'm around other people who just have no idea why I'm laughing, and that's awkward.
I don't know. I guess that could maybe happen, but for me, I'm so caught up in sort of the joy of like, because I recognize whenever that sort of happens, where like you're laughing so much that there's almost like you just feel so positive in a sense. It's almost like having a good cry. That also can you can just feel like you're just like kind of there's a relief
you're connected
in that
to
kind of
some very sort of primal sort of
emotion. It's just like going through so purely kind of thing. You just feel it's like laughter. It's such a positive kind of thing to have.
Yeah,
you don't feel anything bad's happening when you're in that stage.
It should go quite high, I think.
I think so. There's very few. Even when you feel like, for me, when I feel like I'm struggling to breathe, I feel like I could probably there's something in my body will kick in to stop me from actually suffocating.
You would hope so.
I don't think anyone's actually died
I've
of laughter.
heard of people doing it. I think someone watching The Goodies famously died from laughing.
Don't tell me this. Please don't tell me this.
sorry. No, I don't think it's very common.
I'm gonna keel over a book club one.
Oh no.
That is a very good thing for them to claim, though. Is that they were that
True.
funny that someone died laughing at that.
That's true. I choose not to believe that.
Yeah, they probably had some underlying condition.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. Yeah, let's put it fairly high up, I think. Is it better than dancing?
Yes.
Okay.
Without hesitation.
Without hesitation.
I do like it a lot.
More than a grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah, probably.
Oh wow.
But, you seem very high on grilled cheese sandwich.
I love cheese.
Me too. So you would put it below grilled cheese sandwiches?
I don't know. I do like the giddiness, the giddy feeling. That's a good point.
There's a thing about it where you just like you don't feel any negative emotions during it
Yeah.
whatsoever, which is like a great state to be in. It's not like when you're kind of like very calm and just like it's more just like another emotion, but it's in that same kind of context.
It's almost like a sense of euphoria.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Okay, yeah, it probably should be above grilled cheese sandwiches. in that
Unless you
case.
get that sense of euphoria from grilled cheese
Wow.
sandwiches.
Depends how good they are. If they have parmesan on, maybe.
It's a strange place, but I feel it's sort of probably in that area because it happens so rarely as well. And
Yeah, that's true. Like when it happens, I'm always like, I have to remember what made me laugh so much.
Yeah.
Having good teeth as well is interesting because I'm always conscious of my teeth when I'm laughing because I've got really big teeth. So I kind of have to do the hiding behind my
Don't
hand
need to hide your
thing.
teeth from us.
I think it maybe has to be above George Foreman grills. Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, George Foreman grills I like a lot, but
They're so hard to clean.
yeah, you have to be either very prepared to sort of clean them straight away,
Right, yeah.
or you have to unfortunately suffer through getting the kind of greasy stuff off.
I might put them above having good teeth as well, because
I mean,
the teeth sort of like, yeah, it's good, but
you worry about them. There comes that worrying of your good teeth kind of thing. There is a lot of like work involved in
maybe below headphones, because I listen to headphones every day.
Headphones are pretty good.
Laughing only happens once in a blue moon.
Yeah,
Well, that kind of laughing.
yeah, it's very rare. So maybe because it's such a rare thing as well. Maybe that does dot it down a little bit. So yeah, in between headphones and having good teeth, I could see that.
I'm happy with that.
Cool.
Yeah. We'll all laugh about it eventually. So. Try.
So good at these transitions. Okay, right. So that was Bring a Thing. Now we're moving on to Cram Session.
Cram session.
This is the fun bit.
It's a bit where we have to do the most work, so I don't know if it's that fun.
It's the homework section.
But the listeners at home, they get this lovely thing with this time travel 5 minutes in the future.
That's true, yeah.
Research.
You won't even know where we're doing it. Well, you will, because I'm going to say what we're doing. Basically, in Cram Session, we take 5 minutes to learn about something that we don't know very much about, and then at the end of the 5 minutes, we come back and try and place it on the list.
Wow.
Today, I thought it would be fun to learn about the star system of Alpha Centauri, or Alpha Centauri.
Wow,
Alex.
Wow. I echo that wow.
So we're going to spend 5 minutes researching that, however we see fit, and then we're going to come back and talk about it. Cool. Wow, that was 5 minutes. And we all know about Alpha Centauri now.
Yep. Everything.
Everything there is to know.
Nervous laughter.
Yeah, so what did we learn in our extensive research?
It's the closest star system to R1, Sol.
It is, but it's still not that close. Really.
Yeah, 4.3 light years away.
Something like that.
Wow, you guys have retained so much more information than I have.
Yeah, it's retained as I look at my mobile phone screen.
I mean, it says here that Proxima Centauri, which is one of the stars there, is the Earth's nearest neighbouring star, but it would still take one of our current spacecraft around 50,000 years to reach it.
Wow.
Not that far then?
That's a big negative straight away. It's very difficult to get to.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have
Moved
planned
it.
that a bit better.
Yeah, moved a bit closer.
Yeah.
It is always a shame that we're not close to each other more. We're quite far distanced away from each other.
I know, it's really annoying. Like,
Galaxies and universes. Ugh.
Proxima Centauri, I assume Proxima Centauri is called that because it's close.
Yeah.
But considering it's called that, it's really not that close.
No.
The space is just so spread apart. It's annoying.
It's hard to get your mind around it if you think
It
about
is,
it.
and
In
it's
different
just-
actual distance.
As someone who wants the human race to like explore all of the universe,
Yeah, a universe faring.
the universe does
race.
make it very difficult to do that.
Distance is tough.
Damn the universe.
Has it got 3 stars in it? Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're all different colours. There's a yellow one, an orange one, and a red one.
I think so, but they kind of blur together. So if you're looking at the sky normally, they all look like one star.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's quite a bright star in our sky. But
But if you were, like, say, living on one of the planets in that star system, you'd be able to see 3 suns at the same time popping around, potentially.
maybe.
Which is a cool sci-fi effect.
That's true, yeah. So Proxima Centauri b is like the nearest, well, speculated to be the nearest planet to Earth that isn't in our solar system. So that's also ridiculously far away from us. But yeah, it's speculated to maybe be habitable because it's the right distance away from the stars, apparently, to be
Yeah.
potentially in the Goldilocks zone of not too hot, not too cold
Just right.
for life. But it's also got very strong winds which may blow away the atmosphere, so there may not be enough atmosphere for there to be life. Stellar wind, that's what it's called. 2,000 times those experienced by Earth, so it might not be habitable. We don't know, and it's going to be a long time before we can confirm that because it would take ages to get there. Even if we could go at light speed, it would take over 4 years to get there. So frustrating, the whole slowness of space.
Yeah.
Makes you want to like build a big cryogenic freezer on Earth and just put everyone on Earth in it and just send a mission out into space, and then so we get to unfreeze when the mission comes back. And
Okay,
they can tell
yeah,
us what happened.
That's true. That'd be a
Yeah.
big agreement among everyone.
It would.
But-
I don't think you get everyone to agree to that.
Well, I mean, they wouldn't really notice the time freeze to a certain extent. We just carry
If
on.
everyone did it, it'd be fine.
Yeah, we would just like
I
everyone
thought
go
about
sleep
that.
for
Like,
it.
if we ever get to the point where we need to travel from galaxy to galaxy, we could just have like time jumps where everyone just agrees to go into suspended animation for a certain length of time while the journey happens,
Yeah,
and then everyone comes out at the same time. So basically, that's a new day or it's a new era then.
that's fine.
And
You just don't want like one group to potentially like say, "Oh yeah, we'll definitely do that," and then just take over while the rest
that's
of
true.
us. is asleep.
Yeah, it would be quite easy to just go like unplug the stasis
Things.
chamber.
And now we're the ones in charge.
It feels like there's been a lot of films and books recently about this kind of people being frozen. in
Children of Time.
Yeah, Children
Yeah,
of Time.
that's a very
There's that film Passengers as well.
It's a slightly weird looking romantic comedy, is it?
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, guys.
Yeah, it didn't. It looks a bit weird in the trailer.
It was saying the star system was discovered in 1689 apparently by Jean Richaud, a Jesuit priest.
Okay.
So yeah, apparently
okay.
so. Though to a certain extent we've been aware of it since ancient times because the stars have been talked about in ancient Egypt, ancient China, and ancient Australia. Also, a part of the Centauri sort of system makes up the constellation Centaurus. It's the hoof, apparently. So there's a few little more facts.
Okay, cool.
That's as much as I know.
Yeah, I don't know very much about it. It's hard to get an overall.
I mean, Wikipedia's telling me a lot of things, but I can't really say hand on heart I understand a lot of it.
Yeah, I know.
So.
That's the trouble with this whole concept
Astronomy.
of perception.
Yeah.
Really, you tend to just learn a lot of things that you don't fully understand.
Or that you can sort of compile into a very small little thing to
Yeah,
get
it's hard
about.
to do a bite-sized little fact sheet about Alpha Centauri unless you just take one from someone someone else, which we shouldn't really do.
No.
Although I sort of have been doing that. Sorry. It's hard to know where to rank it because we're obviously biased in that we live in a place that we know is habitable.
It's our nearest star system neighbour, so I think we should probably appreciate
I mean,
them.
we don't want to piss them off, just in case it is inhabited. Like, Proxima Centauri B could be inhabited by aliens who have faster than light travel and could
Tune into the
and
podcast.
could tune into the podcast and be like, we're just going to go over there.
We do need to consider that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, top of the list.
Move down the ray guns.
No. We need to take a stand here and say, like, okay, Alpha Centauri, you're probably good. You're probably a nice place to visit. In the same way that we did with Switzerland. Like, well, I mean, you've been there briefly, but like I haven't been there, so I could only like go based on what I know. It's probably a nice place to visit. But
Yeah.
even more so with Alpha Centauri, it's like so far away that I'm probably never going to visit there.
Probably not.
Probably not.
You're probably more likely to visit Switzerland, to be honest.
Maybe.
Mathematically speaking, so.
Yeah, it's probably nice. There's a potentially habitable planet, which is more than can be said for some places in space, which are just.
Still feeling a bit indifferent towards it.
I mean,
if I'm honest.
yeah.
I
it's
wouldn't
so
dismiss
far
it because
away.
it is a
It's
whole
like-
star system, but
Yeah,
it's,
but what has it ever done for us, really? Like, would you
I'm
miss it if
feeling
it was
more
gone?
warmly towards slippers than I am.
Alright, we're gonna slippers fan actually.
They're quite low down, I think. Well, they're not low down, but they're in the middle.
Yeah, why are they so low down? That's crazy.
Yeah, they should be. I get.
Wow.
Actually, this is quite long now, so.
But yeah, again, it is something. It's
So
like
you would put them below slippers.
Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
I mean, I can understand that because, like, you know, it's one of those things. Like, if they want to be placed high on our list, they should like make it easier for us to get there.
Exactly.
Like, if
You've
it's a
got British-
tourist attraction, you've got to be like take into account how hard is it to get there, how hard is it to find parking.
If there's an Alpha Centauri version of everything versus everything out there that is ranking our star system down quite low because of the same reasons, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Like, so don't hold this against us. We understand. We're far away from you. You're far away from us. It's not like we're hostile to you, and please don't take it that way. If we ever invent faster than light travel, we'll go there.
Yes, probably first.
Yeah, and you know we'll have a good time hopefully, and we'll move it up our list. You know what? We'll reassess it then.
Yeah,
But
we
until
will.
then, I just think it's not worth putting too high.
You're just below slippers then.
Okay.
Until then, we're favouring slippers.
Yeah, you're right. I think that's a reasonable shout. Yay!
Yay!
So that was cram session. That was the most work that we have to do on this podcast. So it's good that it's over. And now we move on to the thing about that.
Boop, boop.
And the thing about that, we talk about our theme for this episode, which is music.
I'm so excited to talk about this.
Oh
First,
yeah!
Alanna.
Yes.
Go on.
So the thing I want to talk about is Cher.
Cher.
Thought it might be.
Cher the musician?
Yes, because I think she is awesome. I've always had a thing for her. I was a very weird child. And when Believe came out, that was like my favourite album ever, and I was about 8 or 9. I just think she's amazing. She's one of these musicians, I don't really like the hypersexualized bit about the music industry. And even though Cher's outfits are quite questionable at times, she's totally owning it. She's a bit like a Madonna in that respective. I don't feel like she's got a manager or a record label like forcing her to dress that way or behave that way. In fact, I think she's pretty much like saying, fuck you, this is who I am. This is what I want to do.
Yep.
And I have to respect that. And plus her voice is amazing. Her music just transcends time. It's never aged. It's just amazing, and it's feel-good music. It's feel-good music. And in the 1989 music video for Turn Back Time, which might be my favourite Cher song ever, she is straddling a warship cannon in a thong fishnet outfit. Now, like, I have to take my hat off for that, because that is like some confidence. And it was the Billboard Music Awards recently. Bearing in mind, Cher is 71 years old now. She wore the same outfit
Oh.
to sing Turn Back Time, which, you know, I think is amazing.
Yeah.
I hope everybody else shares my opinion of Cher.
Shares your Cher opinions.
I don't know if I know enough of it, Cher, to fully.
Everybody knows a Cher song.
Everyone
I don't
knows
believe
Cher. I think she's quite recognisable as a
Yeah.
pop culture icon.
Yes.
And all the Cher songs I have heard in the past, I have genuinely liked. I like her as a person whenever she's shown up. Apparently she's great on Twitter. I heard she's a real good
A
personality.
wild card on Twitter. Yeah, I forgot
Really?
about She's the one who just posts really weird stuff.
But she's never had like a meltdown or like
No,
been quite
she's just
upsetting,
consistently
so.
kind of weird. And doesn't she post in like all caps and stuff?
I think she probably can.
Please don't say anything that makes me...
No, she's not. She's just
No
funny
Cher bashing.
on Twitter. It's not like...
No, she's. I think she uses it in quite an entertainment-based way.
Yeah,
to a certain extent. Like,
you
people
can't
who
really tell
follow
if
her.
she entirely understands what Twitter is, but it's...
It's great though. I love that. And she's been on TV shows and films which I've seen her in, which she's very much not taking herself too seriously, which is something I've always admired about any pop culture or person that's known to the public, that they're able to sort of like make a joke about themselves a little bit, or not be too like, well, I'm this kind of person, I have this standard there. She very much strikes me as quite down to earth in that way, while being also quite wacky and up there in another kind of way. So I definitely got a positive image of Cher if someone brought her up to me, kind of thing.
Good.
Yeah.
This is good news.
No,
Alex, I need to hear positive things from you.
I just don't think I just don't think I've invested the time to get to know the work of Cher and the depth I should have. I feel bad about that. And after this, I'll try to correct my error.
If I asked you to name a Cher song that is not one of the ones that I've already mentioned.
I couldn't, to be honest. No.
Oh.
The one I would be able to name would actually be It Turn Back Time. That's the main one I know.
Rockin'
Because
in Memphis.
I'm pretty bad at remembering songs for people, unless I've actually made an active effort and gone, I'm going to look on Spotify and sort of learn the main songs by this person. I never like pick it up just from naturally hearing it on the radio or whatever. I always have to actually make an effort to
I think
learn.
one of the things that annoys me is these kind of artists, musicians, bands, whatever, they're always seen as like guilty pleasures, and it's one of the things where a lot of people probably really enjoy listening to the music but don't ever really want to admit it in social circles because for fear of it not being cool, or it's always seen as a bit of like a cheese-tastic. It'd be playing at like some kind of pop disco, but they all feel good songs and there's nothing wrong with...
I totally agree with that. Like, I don't like the whole sort of
snobbery.
Yeah, snobbery around music. And the worst question that I feel like, for me, to be asked is like, what music do you like?
Yeah.
Because like, immediately that sets my brain racing, because there are answers to that question that I could say, but I'm like then trying to read them and be like, okay, what do you expect from me? Do you want me to say something obscure? Do you want me to say something mainstream? You're going to like laugh at me if I say this thing that is actually my favourite, or if I try and take a less obvious one that's not actually my favourite but I like, then are you going to be like, that's rubbish, and the thing that you were going to say is actually better, and I'd be like, no, I was going to say that, no. It's just a minefield of terms. But yeah, I agree that if you like something, you like something. There's no point in feeling guilty about the music you listen to. There's plenty to feel guilty about, such as palm oil.
I've already got the Nutella guilt. I don't need the Cher
Yeah,
guilt.
exactly. You're not doing anyone any harm whatsoever by listening to Cher.
Nope.
But even whilst admitting the fact that I love Cher, if somebody did ask me if I was in that situation where it's like, what music you listen to, I'm probably not going to say Cher and Bon Jovi, which is probably the two likeliest.
That's a failure on society's part, not yours.
Yeah.
It's created this expectation where you're not supposed to be honest, really. You're supposed to.
So this is good because the podcast has given me a platform to say that I am Alanna and I love Cher.
Yeah.
Gay
We're here
Alanna.
I might have a similar thing to do, but it's not quite in the same way. Anything else you want to say about Cher? If someone was wanting to get into Cher, what would you recommend?
Well, she has got a few greatest hits albums, so I would just start with those because that's got all the hard hitters on there. And if you don't like those songs, Cher's probably not for you.
Okay, it's not like there's intricately constructed albums.
No.
To them and...
No, I don't think she's all about the album flow. Sorry, Cher, if you are listening to this.
I'm sure you put a lot of effort
I'm sure you do put a lot of effort into it. The Believe album is obviously a big one for me because it's just sentimentality, and there's certain songs, if I hear that, it just takes me back to sitting on my bed with my little tape player, and yeah, it's nice.
Cool. Where would you put Cher on the list?
Ah, yes.
See, this is hard because this is entirely objective, right? So she does make me pretty happy.
Does she make you happier than the Eurovision Song Contest does?
Ooh, I think she might. I think she might.
Okay.
She might not make me happier than grilled cheese sandwiches, though.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I keep coming back to this. This is
Would
why
that be at the top of your list, do you think? Above water?
Yeah.
So if someone offered me a grilled cheese sandwich or a glass of water, I'd probably do the grilled cheese
But if
sandwich.
someone
Yes,
said
that's
for the
true.
rest of your life you can only have one of these things ever again,
If I could have juice and other kinds of drinks.
oh come on, you'd have to have water.
You'd have to have water eventually, but it doesn't mean I love water at the
I
same
know,
time.
but I would choose it resentfully.
It's-
I would
it-
choose.
It's like having sunlight kind of thing. I'm like, sunlight's fine, but
I think Cher's definitely. See, Cher and dancing kind of.
they do
They
wrap
come,
up together.
yeah, they kind of come close for me because if I'm dancing in the house, it'll be to Cher.
Yeah. And Cher likes dancing, probably.
Yeah, she loves a dance. Check out some of her videos. Loves a dance.
Will do.
Will do.
Yeah, but she doesn't have the. I assume she doesn't have as many downsides as dancing for you, at least.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
She's above dancing, but grilled cheese sandwich. If I was to give you maybe a month's supply of grilled cheese sandwiches or a ticket to a concert for Cher.
Or a ticket to a concert.
Ah, well, so there you
Without
go.
hesitation.
Maybe you now know your answer a bit more.
She's in residency in Vegas at the moment. Ugh, I'd love to. Thing is, that would be my only reason for going to Vegas because it's just not a place that I've ever wanted to go.
Yeah, if you don't like gambling, there's very little to do in Vegas. But then again, if you're able to afford the cool shows they put on, and that
Yeah,
sounds like a
that's true.
cool, showy place. We'll talk about Vegas at some point, I'm sure, in this list. I mean, I potentially put it above grilled cheese sandwich myself, Cher, because she seems like quite a lovely, nice person who makes some really good songs.
I don't feel like I can have an opinion, but I'm happy to go with what you want, Alanna, because you're the one who's passionate here, so I don't feel like I'm going to override it with my
If
lack
I'm
of knowledge.
gonna put her above grilled cheese sandwiches, then I'd need to also put her above the George Foreman grills.
That's fine.
Okay.
Having good teeth. Quite like having good teeth.
Yeah, maybe that's the point.
Yeah, I think maybe that's the point.
Okay.
So between 16 and 17.
Right. Okay. Excellent.
Is that our first musical artist on the list?
I think
Yeah.
it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
blazing a trail.
Oh, yeah.
She might be joined very quickly.
Oh, I think she may. Do you want to go next or lie?
I can go next, Alex. You
Go
want?
on.
Yeah, cool. I'm bringing a musical artist as well to the list. I'm bringing Bob Dylan.
Oh, I thought you
okay.
might.
Yeah, no, I'm a big Bob Dylan fan actually, and I don't like many musicians or much music. Wait, I wouldn't say I don't like them. I say that I'm like pretty ambivalent to a lot of music and musicians. But Bob Dylan, I really like, and I really got into him quite a bit. I had a friend who was a big Bob Dylan fan, and he kind of got me into it really a lot. He's quite a fascinating character in himself. He was originally Robert Zimmerman from Minnesota. But he travelled to New York back when he was like 16 or something and kind of got right wrapped into the New York folk music scene at the time, which was kind of quite a big music scene, and he became almost the heart of it, and the heart of a kind of movement of like people that were kind of anti-war and that kind of stuff that was going on in like the 60s. And then he kind of broke away from them and sort of became his own kind of thing. He got into sort of more rock music, and electric music was sort of starting to take off. There's a really great documentary about Bob Dylan called No Direction Home, which was directed by Martin Scorsese, and that's where I've learned most of my stuff about it. But it takes a lot of Bob Dylan's home footage and sort of puts it together. It's a 4-hour long documentary, so it's quite an investment to make. But if you kind of have always liked Bob Dylan music and maybe had a bit of interest, it's something I would definitely recommend having a watch of, and the story told is very fascinating about it. Bob Dylan as well, I think like Cher in a way, he's not like you'd call him like a part of a particular genre. He's his own kind of thing. When you hear a Bob Dylan song, you know it's a Bob Dylan song. It's not a rock song or a folk song or something like that. It's very much something that he's made his own, and people have covered Bob Dylan songs all the way up to present day kind of thing, but no one I feel has ever really done it as well as he has done. His like musical writing is, I think, is pretty incredible. There's something about them, like some of the songs you just feel like if you read it, it's very poetic. It sometimes doesn't always make sense, but the way he delivers it and the music, it kind of it strikes a chord in you or in me that sort of you feel like you do get what the sentiment behind it is, or what you're bringing to it sort of connects very well. So in your own way, it can feel very like either anti-war or a song about sort of romance and relationships and that kind of stuff. So he covers some very big, broad subjects in his music, and he does it in such a personal way that also feels very universal in a sense. And yeah, just some of his songs, Times Are Changing, Lay Lady Lay, like a Rolling Stone, they're, I think, held up as some of like the best songs ever made. I mean, and I would myself, of the opinion that he's potentially one of the greatest musicians that has ever existed. And that's quite a statement to make, but of all the musicians that I've heard of and looked at and analysed, in my mind, he stands up there among the best of all time, kind of thing. Not just like in recent in music history, but I'm also including Mozart and all that kind of stuff. So
I think a lot of musicians always cite him as like their inspiration as well. That always seems to be a thing. I've never really been into Bob Dylan, but
I can get that.
It's not by actively avoiding him. I've obviously heard the song that you've just mentioned there, but I just always felt quite indifferent towards him. I think maybe it's because people do feel so passionately about him. It's one of those things where I'm frightened to actually have an opinion on it, just in case it offends someone.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Bowie, isn't it? Because whenever anybody says anything bad about David Bowie, I get a bit defensive, and I imagine that it would be the same for you.
I'm not the kind of person I think that would feel like offended if you sort of say that this thing is rubbish or that kind of thing. I mean, because again, like when it comes to these sort of things, it is subjective, and people can like, if it's not for them, it's not for them, and that's totally understandable. But I would say that I think there is some objective way of like putting this person has had such an effect or a mark on such a large amount of people and such like a genre of music that you have to kind of give them their props for it.
I agree.
I mean, the world is certainly on your side when it comes to Bob Dylan.
It's a safe place to be honest,
And other musicians are certainly, like, I like him. I haven't dived as deep into him as you have, so maybe I'm just not, it may be one of those things where you kind of have to become a bit obsessed for a while to truly get him, and if you're just like skimming on the surface, then you don't really get everything out of it. There's a lot of things like that, and there's plenty of things that I like that are definitely along those lines as well. So like, I think he's a very good lyricist. Definitely. In terms of lyrics, there's not many artists who you could read their lyrics on a page and they'd still work. Yeah. But he's one of the few. Like, pop songs generally are sort of like, if you read them on the page, you're like, what? It's like, baby. La 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 la. Yeah. They're more, they would almost work as poems, and that's cool. I'm not massively into the style of music that he does, but like, that's just a personal thing. And some of the songs I like. Subterranean Homesick Blues I think is really cool and doesn't sound like anything else, especially from the time that it was made. I think he's very good.
And I will also say that there are plenty of Bob Dylan songs that I don't like or have very little kind of opinion one way or the other about. I think, he's not always made great songs all the time, but he has had a career that has spanned a good number of decades, so you're not always going to have a winner every time around. But his best songs, I would say, have really been some of the best, probably, for people who like that kind of thing.
Yeah. I can't really argue with that.
Yeah, I think you're the one with the passion here. As Alanna was the one with the passion for Cher, and I'm going to be the one with the passion for the next thing that we talk about.
Oh, that's cool.
So
where I put him on the list?
Where would you put him?
I don't know, because the thing is now, you brought Cher, Alanna.
This is basically like...
And I don't want to, it's hard, because like...
This is difficult now, because we start getting head-to-head.
It's like Cher versus Bob Dylan. Bare knuckle brawl. But like...
I mean, I could probably concede that Bob Dylan has had a larger effect on the world as a whole than Cher probably has. I'm big enough to admit that. That's okay. But yeah. Okay, I'm going to do it totally subjective and not just from having Cher being put into the list, but just as a list as a whole. This is where I'd thrown him in before Cher had been brought into the thing. Okay. And I'd put it around 1984, the George Orwell novel, myself. Because some of his like music and lyrics has sort of been in that same kind of vein. There's a song called Hurricane, which he wrote, which was about an African-American boxer who was imprisoned for a crime he didn't commit, basically. And it tells this really deep story about this kind of social injustice. And he does it in 5 minutes, but it feels so like you're brought along in this story about this kind of thing, which, if you look at 1984, sort of where it's talking about sort of dystopia and that kind of stuff, that does it in a full novel, and Bob Dylan's able to encapsulate social injustice in about a 5-minute song. There's also the tragic death of poor Hattie Carroll. That's another one where it's an African-American woman who was practically working as a slave, and she got killed by this rich white farmer, and because he's a rich white farmer in the South, he got away with it.
it, and Bob Dylan's also dealing with that subject matter during the time period which it was very unpopular to have that kind of opinion. So I guess his more kind of political kind of music, as a singer goes, it's very impressive kind of thing. I mean, you think about singers nowadays, they don't really tackle that thing as much. And
there does seem to be a bit of a lack of like political or protest.
They'll wrap themselves up on a cause themselves. They'll show up in concerts for things, but they won't themselves write music that feels like it's hitting in the matter of it.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I would probably say as well that music kind of would hit more people than, unfortunately, 1984 as a book probably would have done.
Yeah, I'd be okay with putting him above 1984. Because 1984 is like a controversial one. I know Alanna would probably put it way down the list from where it is.
It's overrated.
So mine would be the new number 8. Bob Dylan.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy.
Sure. Yeah, I'll put it.
You raised a really passionate argument.
Yeah.
I've been preparing all my life for this plea for Mr.
I feel like I didn't do Cher much justice.
Oh, you did.
I'm sorry, Cher.
Now we've got those two out of the way, we can get on to the really important stuff.
Yeah, we've got the amateurs done with.
The most seminal musical artist, the band, arguably the most important band, defining a generation, if not all of time.
I don't know what it is, but I'm really excited now.
And I think we all know who.
It's going to be the Venga Boys, isn't it?
The Bee Gees.
It's
the Wombles.
In fact, from my childhood, the band East 17.
Yes. Yes, Alex.
I've known you for so long, Alex, and I've never heard of this band before that.
Have you not heard of East 17?
Maybe I've heard of their music, but I've not heard the
probably
name.
Heard Stay Another Day.
I think I've heard Stay Another Day, actually, yeah.
So, East 17 was the band that I said when I was about probably 8 or 9 that they were the best band in the world, because people at my school were saying that. I'd never heard anything by them. So I just went along with it. And you know, we talked a bit about this on the last episode, I think, where when you're a child you kind of just decide random things about yourself. To form your identity, you just like decide, oh, my favourite band is that, and stick to it even if you don't actually know anything about them. So I did that with East 17, and for a while I would get very defensive about them when my family would insult them. I would go home like and talk about, oh, I love East 17, and they'd go like, what? and you know, James and my mum would be like, who are they? And I'd be like, oh, they're a band, the best band in the world. And basically I just continued to insist that they were great, even though I didn't know anything by them. And eventually I actually got into music. I just wasn't into music at all as a child, and I got into it much later and started liking stuff. But I never really listened to East 17 until yesterday, when I thought,
oh my God,
I need to investigate this band and see if they actually are the greatest band in the world.
And the conclusion is,
they're probably not the best band. They're okay. I mean, they're quite 90s.
90s is in right now.
That's true. Sadly.
Yeah, it's pretty 90s. Like, they have rap sections. They were kind of their main rivals to take that, apparently. I did some Wikipediaing as well. But apparently they were like the bad boys of like
I certainly
90s
that.
boy bands.
Yeah.
And when I read that before I really listened to any of the music. When I listened to the music, I was like, wow, if this is the bad boys, then I don't know what the good boys were like, because they're the most innocuous, sort of like
safe.
Yeah, they're the most sort of gentle, sort of soothing, sort of. But I mean, I think in the 90s, if anyone rapped at all, then that was seen as really bad, like tough and like street smart. And so they just have these sort of raps about how, you know, the world would be better if everyone loved each other and stuff.
Oh, that's adorable.
Which is, I mean, it's not a bad message, but it's slightly cringily written, some of it. But yeah, they have nice vocal harmonies in the choruses sometimes, and they're quite sort of pleasant to listen to.
You are going out of your way to try and say nice things.
I expected something a little different from them. I expected something a bit more actually gritty than they are. They're not gritty at all.
Wow, you really knew nothing about East 17, did you?
I thought they'd be at least like pretending to be like
bad boys.
Like not in a I'm gonna pop a cap in your ass way, but like
You
just
ever said that before?
I think I might have. But yeah, they're okay. They're okay.
Okay.
Some of their songs are a little questionable.
So, Stay Another Day, is that the one that got to number 1 at Christmas time?
I think so. Yeah, it's the
Where
Christmas
we're all wearing
song.
like big white.
I haven't
fur
seen the
coats
music video,
and-
but as I
wow.
understand it, that song wasn't a Christmas song.
It wasn't,
and
no,
then
it
they
just- yeah.
they added Christmas bells going ding 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 at the end of it.
Well,
and
at
they
least
made
they
a
tried.
video that was quite Christmassy, and that was the only thing that made it Christmassy.
Yeah.
So it's a bit
I
cheeky.
do clearly remember. I mean, they troll them out every Christmas, don't they? Or the Christmas number ones have passed. And I'm pretty sure it's basically all of the members of E17 wearing big white coats, white puffer jackets, white fur coats, just like looking into the camera,
That's
kind of like
quite
swaying
90s.
in like this frosty kind of background.
Oh my god. That's
I'm
amazing.
singing it in my head now. Like totally singing it. That's it.
I can't remember the rest of it because I've only heard it I definitely heard it before yesterday.
Yeah.
But I didn't
You
really
would-
pay
you
attention.
would have heard it.
I will have
You
definitely
would-
heard it on a radio or a
Yeah.
thing like that, but yes,
Yeah,
I
a lot
have
of
definitely
people.
heard that.
A lot of people doing that in the background. Well, it's not a lot of people. It's probably just one bad member.
They're apparently still around.
I'm not surprised.
Ooh, are they on that tour where I'm sure there's a tour going around where it's like all old boy bands have like formed one like massive
maybe.
super
Mega
boy
group?
I
band.
don't not that I
Oh
know
my
of,
god.
but I think the main guy's left, but he's also left like 3 times before. So it's one of those bands that keeps just getting back together.
So when he didn't have to do panto, he went back kind of
Yeah.
thing.
They probably always say, I'm never going back to that awful band ever again. And when the money runs out, they come crawling back with tail between the legs.
Oh my god. Oh well.
Yeah, I don't actually think they're the best band in the world. He's just trying to make it more dramatic at the beginning.
I like it. I like the story you built around it.
Yeah,
so.
thank you.
They're definitely one of those bands that I don't think anybody, well, maybe that's doing them a disservice. I don't think people would go into adulthood continuing to like E17. It probably is a pre-teen, teenage
There must be
thing.
people who still cling on to their...
E17
I mean, like,
fans.
through nostalgia, at least.
Maybe. It feels like it's wrapped up in just a whole crowd of other 90s
Yeah.
boy bands that just
Yeah,
like
that's
they're not
true.
even like mentioned the same tone like Take That are mentioned in or
Well,
Boyzone
let's
or
continue into the 2000s a bit better than
Was it the
17
same
did.
time as Backstreet Boys and NSYNC?
I feel like
and all that?
Backstreet Boys were later. Maybe I'm wrong because I think 17 was started around 93 or something. Was Backstreet Boys later?
I had no idea.
I think they
idea.
probably were.
I was
but I'm
never
not
a
sure.
boy band listener.
No,
I was
neither
too
was
busy
I. I just
listening to
pretended.
Cher.
Cher was the winner there.
Yeah, okay, well, E17 definitely shouldn't be above Cher. They should be quite up.
Probably not. Or I don't think Alanna would
No.
accept that
No,
one
I
second.
wouldn't.
I would accept that
I
either,
would-
to be honest.
I would put my foot down.
I would defend Cher there.
I
Should
think.
he go to the bottom of the list?
Oh no, they're definitely
No.
above Piers Morgan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They haven't done anything horrible, as far as I know.
Oh, maybe they have.
I did read their Wikipedia page. I think one of them
No
got
controversies.
in trouble for drugs or something, but apart
Ah, that's fine.
every band does.
They're
probably a very
above
boring
the
drug,
common
actually.
cold.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't put them. I don't think they're bad enough to be down in the very lowest sort of
No.
reaches. Like I might put them above Word Twist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just below freshly squeezed lemon
Yeah,
juice.
because I like that.
Yeah.
And like everything from freshly squeezed lemon juice up, I pretty much like.
Yeah.
We don't have that many really terrible things on this list, so I don't feel too bad about putting them there. Woohoo!
Woo!
So that is our things for today. We've added 3 musical artists, arguably the most important 3 in the world.
Oh, very much.
Certainly covered a broad spectrum of musical styles with that. And now all it remains for us on this episode is to do nudges and grudges, where each of us can choose to move one thing up or down the list by one place.
Can you guess what mine's
Do
gonna
that
be?
much, but
What's yours going to be, Alanna?
Can I nudge the grilled cheese sandwiches up one?
okay, above George Foreman
Yeah.
grills. Okay,
Fair enough.
makes sense. Euan, anything you want to change?
I actually, and it might be a bit controversial, but I actually want to grudge Piers Morgan down at the bottom again.
Oh, I agree with that.
Wow.
Yeah,
I do agree
because
with that.
I know you guys had a big thing about jealousy, and you read a lot of valid points. But I read a Piers Morgan thing today that just made me think, no, he deserves to be down the bottom again. And I don't want to say exactly what it is
That
because it
does
times
happen.
the message, times the episode
Yes.
a bit. So just the fact that he did a really shitty Piers Morgan thing, so he deserves to be at
that's
the
what he
bottom
does.
again.
Okay.
But it just reminds me how much if you actually why he deserves to be at the bottom of the list.
He is
still.
a piece of shit.
And one thing for jealousy, as much as it's obviously all around the terrible thing that people have and all that. Some people can have jealousy. It actually makes them work harder on certain things, if that makes any sense. It can be a kind of influencer and I kind of wish I was that rich, successful person, and it can actually influence them to be, or it can push them forward to be a bit more kind of going in that direction, I guess. That's the only positive I can bring about jealousy at all to it. Mm-hmm. And the fact that also it's kind of like saying, taking jealousy away, it'd be like sort of taking sadness away, then you don't appreciate happiness in a sense.
I guess. I don't know if I entirely agree with that, but
it's still at the second last.
I'll be okay with Piers Morgan.
I mean, I'm happy with jealousy being still right at the bottom kind of thing, but I think Piers Morgan, sorry, you've had your chance to prove yourself to not be the bottom, and you fucked it up quite quickly afterwards, so you're down the bottom again.
Okay.
That was actually going to be my grudge as well, so I'm glad that you've brought it up.
Yeah.
Right, what do I want to do? I might be okay with everything.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
You know what? No, I'm gonna nudge 1866 up.
Okay.
Because for some reason, everyone on the last episode, everyone was like, "What's that doing so high up?"
Yeah.
It's a good year. Lots of
So
stuff
you want to
happened.
keep bringing up
Some quite
higher.
good stuff happened that year. There was a Civil Rights Act in America that gave African Americans more rights.
That was
Not
good.
enough.
Yeah. So is that a good point?
I mean, it's just sort of good. Okay, right. That's all for this week. So we now have, how many things do we have? We have 71 things on the list. The best of which is water, and the worst of which is Piers Morgan again. He's reclaimed his crown at the bottom there. Anyone got any more things to say before we end this?
No, I think we've done a good job with this.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Alanna.
Alanna.
You did very well. Mm-hmm. And we'll see you all again next time on episode 10. Woo! Bye.
Bye.
Farewell!
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Everything vs. Everything. Today's panellists were Alanna Thornbury, Euan Gilmore, and me, Alex Perry. Visit our website at everythingbeeverything.wordpress.com, subscribe to our RSS feed, review us on iTunes, and all that good stuff. You can also check out my other silly podcast, Rainy Day Adventure Club, at rainydayadventureclub.wordpress.com. Thanks for listening. See you next week.